Last night I posted leaked photos of the 2024 Benchmade lineup. There were only a couple of knives that were leaked last night, and this morning I saw that somebody else posted last night the entire catalog. And this is something that, from what I understand online, from discussions online, that Benchmade did not want posted at this time. It was meant to be released at a later date, but it's currently still up for public consumption. I will post the link below where you can see the full catalog, but let's go through the full catalog together. This may get pulled down or so I'm sorry if the link gets broken, but it may get pulled down or password protected at some point, but for now it's actually available. So the first thing that you'll see is the Benchmade Gold Class for the 2024 year, or the major Gold Class announcement is going to be the immunity. Now, a couple of you guys know that I really like the auto immunity since I picked it up. It is kind of small. I'm not really into small knives as much as other things. Yes, I would have liked to see a larger immunity in general than the one that they have as the quote-unquote full immunity. However, I am pretty happy with how thin the blade is, that it's made of M4, and all the other characteristics of the blade for the auto version. For the regular version, which this appears to be a Gold Class version of the regular version, not the auto version. So the regular version I didn't like very much. The blade was too light to swing out with the axis lock, so it is actually quite difficult to open unless you deploy it with the thumb studs. Because of how small it is, it's not so comfortable to deploy it with the thumb studs. So that's why I didn't necessarily like it. It's really, a 3-finger knife. It's not a 4-finger knife. I have size large glove hands, so just so you guys know, I'm even less enthused than the regular full immunity for this one, because of the fact that the carbon fiber is going to lighten up the scales off the aluminum, and the entire knife, yes, it's going to be lighter, but with the very thin blade to begin with, and that it's just going to feel like an insubstantial knife is what I assume will happen. I'll also say that this blade, how thin the blade is, you can see that it's 0.09, it's 90 thousandths for the blade width. That's a really nice slicey blade width for M4, which is a very tough steel. I don't necessarily think that, I assume this is Damasteel made with RWL, it was RWL 34 steel. That steel is, it's tough, but it's not nearly as tough as M4, and I don't love it for the grind. Also, this is a black class knife. I think even the regular version's a black class knife, and to see that, they're doing a Damasteel version of the black class knife in such a thin grind and a steel that may not hold up as well, it doesn't enthuse me a ton. Let me put it that way. Also, just the aesthetic on here is very, very similar to the Tengu Gold Class from a few years ago. That didn't sell well. The Tengu in general didn't sell well. They discontinued it. But the Tengu Gold Class in particular was a Gold Class that I think did not sell very well. I think they geared up. A lot of the dealers bought a lot of them, and then they didn't sell, and they stood there for a long time. So this may be a similar situation. Next up, we have the Blue Class. Interestingly, the Narrows is up at $580. I don't know if the retail price on that is $580 right now. I will say $522 is the current price of the Narrows. I do think, and guys, I promise the review is coming on the Narrows. I've started to sit down again and do some of the longer form reviews. I had only been doing shorts for a while as I was going through a very difficult time with my employer. Yes, I'm an owner of the company, but it's a partnership and we're having issues. Anyway, the interesting thing here is that in April, we're going to have what appears to be a black version. Now, it doesn't say DLC or PVD or any of those things. I'm hoping that it's a DLC or PVD, because then I probably would go and get it. But, be aware that is $600, so it's only $20 more than the original Narrows. I think this might be more of a hit. I don't think a lot of people like the silver and the blue, but it is a very, very thin knife, and if that's not for you, also the price, yes, you can get a Chris Reeve for around the same price. I will note, by the way, that this $600 MSRP is the same MSRP as the recently released limited edition Bailout, which really was a $300 bailout or $50 bailout that was given a $600 price tag. So do with that what you will, but just be aware of that. Here is the regular 940 and 945 lineup. Nothing new to see there. The bug outs, there is a new gray version coming out. I think they've got, these versions exist, these versions exist, this version exists. This is something new, I believe. It doesn't have a drop date, so maybe but maybe it is out at some point, but I don't recall seeing this out. Oh, you know what? This may have been part of the release with the, this was released this year, I think. I just wasn't into that one. Next, we have, it was released, I think, with all these ones. This is a new one. This looks like the same mock-up as like the CLA that they have, except it's a satin blade instead of a black blade. I have the new CLA, by the way. I really like the black stonewash on that blade. It's nice. Kind of wish they did that on this bug out, to be honest. But looks like it's the same kind of bug out. It is $190 MSRP, and it says Tang Ivory instead of the white, although it looks very white like the original one, or like the CLA or whatever, tannish white. So, yeah, this looks like it's dropping February. Not very exciting, to be honest, but that is something new that you may be able to go check out. I think a lot of these are here already. Yep, these are all existing models, except for this one. This one looks new. February. So that one is new. Sage Green Ivory. So if you like the mini bug out and you like this color combo, coming in February 2024. Barrages are all what's existing. This is the new one that dropped recently. It's got a crazy kind of price tag on it for a barrage, especially an S30V. I was hoping they would use a nicer steel on that, maybe a tougher steel because of the fact that the mini barrage is a work knife. But S30V is a good steel, and it uses rich light for the handles rather than some of the other things. So I do like this mini barrage. It's already out. If you like it, go ahead and grab it. The Freak, by the way, is one of the most underrated knives on the market. I highly recommend that. I have this version. I've had it since it first came out. I replaced these scales with the AWT, the Applied Weapons Technology contoured scales. Completely changes the knife. If you liked the blade on the Freak, which is an amazing cutting geometry, an amazing blade, and it's an M4. If you liked that blade, but you did not like the handles, kind of like me, the AWT handles give it a whole nother outlook. And I will say, with the AWT handles, it is one of my favorite knives. Now, just as a user knife, it's one of my favorite knives I have to use. So take that for what you will, but I highly recommend the Freak if you have not had one. The Mini Freak just came out in the same configuration. I don't know if AWT has Mini Freak scales yet, but you should check if that's more your size. I will say that the regular Freak is larger than the Griptilian. So it's kind of like the Mini Freak is kind of an in-between size between the grip and the full grip and the mini grip. So the Mini Freak might be a good size for some of you. The Necron we covered last night. It's the new balisong they have. I have the Morpho. I actually have it with me. So yeah, I have the Morpho, and the Morpho, it looks like the construction is going to be similar with G10. I think they may have, does it say titanium liners? It's, let's see, the removable tungsten weights and handle extensions. So it doesn't say titanium liners, so I'm assuming it's going to be stainless steel liners. But the MSRP, the MSRP on these is $550. Someone pointed out last night in the comments that you can get Revo, and I'll add to that you can also get Squid Industries stuff for much cheaper if you're a flipper. So yeah, I'm curious what these are MSRP prices, but I'm curious what the street price is going to be on these, the map pricing. I may pick one up, but it's overpriced. I remember the 87 here. I actually have the 87 with me. So the 87 is like a $600 knife, right? You know, titanium and bearings. Really cool latch on it. Although I know a lot of the flippers don't like the latches, but I kind of like the feel of the 87. It's actually one of my favorite balisongs. However, it's not necessarily a flipper's balisong. Oh, it's also integral construction on this in titanium for that $600, and this is what you're getting instead, which looks like it's going to be slab construction. So if you want channel construction, full integral, pick up one of the 85s or 87s before they're all out of stock, and because they've already been discontinued. But that's kind of what you're looking at here. Here's another look at the Necron. I was saying the blade looks a lot, it's a clip point, they call it a scimitar blade, and I can see because it has a curve here, but it looks kind of like they took the Weehawk and the Bowie and kind of just combined them, put a little bit of curve on the blade. Still, whatever. Yeah, it's nice. I want one, but that price may stop me from doing it. It looks like it's latchless though. Let me see. Is it latchless? It is latchless. Yeah, so this may be more of a flipping knife. Cool. I don't see a sheath though. The Anonymous I really like, by the way. I don't think I've done a review on it, but I like it. The Bushcrafter, this is a new version of the Bushcrafter. Looks like it is carbon fiber with, I'm assuming that's red G10, and a coated blade. Let's see, black injection molded sheath with push button release. Don't love the plastic sheath on it. The Bushcrafter though is a cool thing. Oh, it looks like it has a divot for a bow drill on it, so that's pretty cool. But you don't see a lot of coated blades in the bushcrafting space. Kind of curious to see these put to the test. This obviously is the new satin one. This one's coming in March. This one's coming in June. I'm very curious to see these put to work. I probably will not pick this one up. This one doesn't seem to have a bow drill divot. I probably won't pick this one up. I didn't pick up the original Bushcrafter, but I can't wait to see some videos online showing what happens, when people put this one to use. I'm curious, very curious to see what happens. I may pick up one of the mini Bushcrafters here. It's really cool to see they're doing a mini version of this. I like, smaller fixed blades for an EDC style thing. This may be too thick of a handle for EDC. I'm not sure. The handle thickness is almost a full inch. So may or may not pick one up. I'll handle one in a store and kind of think about it. But this sheath may stop me from picking it up also. It's still that injection molded sheath, and the price, $480 MSRP on these. And this is what, $500 MSRP. So the pricing on these Benchmades are getting kind of out of control. I can see in 2024. I would really advise, pick up things in 2023 before the price increases hit and while they're heavily discounted for the discontinued models, and you may get a better option than waiting for some of these. Excuse me, water. So this is something that I think is new, and this is kind of what it was alluded to last night. Somebody pointed out that the knife, the fixed blade, may have been intended as a dive knife, and I think they're right. I don't necessarily, I'm not a dive knife, I'm not a dive guy, I don't really use a dive knife, but I was a little bit, I thought it might have been black class instead of a regular dive knife because it had a reverse, the one from last night had a reverse Tonto. This is the Meat Crafter, but a fillet knife instead, which is kind of a cool concept. Very curious to see how this does. This probably has the select edge, and let's see the thickness on this. Blade thickness? Is that a blade thickness? Yeah, this is 90 thousandths blade thickness. So pretty thin. As long as it is, it should be flexible. I might have expected even a little bit thinner, maybe, but 90,000 should be plenty thin. And this has the Santoprene handles that you saw on the Puko and the Luku. These are what, 240 and 260? What are these different lengths, I'm assuming? 7 inches, 9 inches, yeah. Okay, these are coming in May. I probably won't pick these up. You know, I think there's better filleted options probably on the market, although I'm curious to handle one, but interesting nonetheless. The undercurrent, yes, the undercurrent named kind of should have been a giveaway to me that this is a dive knife. I will say the tip on this isn't like a puncture tip, so maybe it's like a little bit like a dive knife, but I was expecting more of a blunt tip on a dive knife, which is why it didn't immediately register to me as that. Also, you don't usually see sort of the flaring on the thumb in order to on a dive knife as much, but yeah, it's a dive knife. Still not going to pick one of these up. This one though is more interesting at 200, where it's a MagnaCut blade and the blue Santoprene handle, and maybe more of an EDC capable knife at the 120 thickness. Kind of wish this was a 90 thousandths thickness on a fixed blade. Maybe it's too much for Benchmade and how they process things, and maybe because of the choice of MagnaCut, they wanted something that was a little thicker. MagnaCut's not quite as tough as some other steels, although it has pretty good toughness. So yeah. Intersect, that's the one we just saw. The Adira. This looks to me, and I don't know for sure, is this a Cybert design? It looks like the Adamas, and they took the Adamas and made it the Adira, which is a water-capable version of the Adamas. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know that that's the case. It has a little bit of a Rockeye-ish design, like a Les George-style design, but it looks very much like a takeoff on the Adamas as well, which is a Cybert design. So, not sure about this. What is this? 7.5 inches, give or take, and this one is 9 inches. So this looks like a full and mini Adamas almost. Yeah, it looks a lot like that. These are not auto. These are I don't know. You guys who are I don't know how I feel about this, because I would have to think that the Omega springs on these, I don't know that they changed what they make them out of, but the Omega springs are probably, I think they're steel, right? I'm pretty sure they're steel. And steel's going to rust. So if you use this in the water consistently, your Omega springs will break. I don't think I'd recommend an axis lock knife as a water knife, especially around salt water. And these are quite expensive for knives that you're going to continually have to replace the springs on and send back into Benchmade to have done. I wouldn't recommend these unless you're going to EDC them not as a water knife. I think the only reason they made it a water knife is because Spyderco decided that MagnaCut was going to be in their salt line. I think the idea here is that Benchmade is trying to compete with Spyderco in their salt line. But I don't like the execution of this if it has steel Omega springs. I'm hoping they maybe figured out a way to do some titanium ones or something. Maybe some of the hardware's titanium. There's a lot of steel on Benchmade's knives. So unless they figured out a way to do something different, no, this is a no for me. The Hunt class, I still have yet to try the Raghorn. I've had it in hand. It's nice. It's really nicely executed. I don't know that I never was impressed enough that I made the purchase, especially for the price. The Meat Crafter. So these are new. No announced date. March. This one's out already. What is different here? Okay, so these have Santoprene handles. That's what's different here. CPM 154, that's what the current one has. Select edge. 11 inches, 11 inches. Let's see. What is different about these? This looks shorter, but it's saying that this is 11 inches. Blade length 4 inches, blade length 6 inches. Oh, that's what's different. Either this is a mistake, this 11 inches. This is a mini meat crafter. That's what I thought it looked like in the picture. But this says 11 inches. So either this 11 inches is wrong, and this is a 4-inch blade with an equivalent handle, or this is a mini meat crafter, and this is a regular mini meat crafter, or this is a regular sized meat crafter with an extra large handle and a smaller blade. I kind of doubt it's that. This is probably a mistake, but a mini meat crafter might be an interesting change. I'm curious for you guys that hunt. I don't, I never got into the meat crafter because I don't hunt. Kind of wish I could hunt, but those of you who know the channel know I'm Orthodox Jewish. There is an issue with Orthodox Judaism and hunting. Very complicated. I won't get into it here, but it may merit a discussion at some point. Kind of interesting. So this is the new altitude. This is currently out. I had the old altitude. I'm very curious to try the new one. It may be a good EDC-able knife. I do wish they made these sheaths differently. I don't like the pancake sheaths. I much prefer the taco sheaths. But Benchmade loves their pancake sheaths. And these are Bolteron. Benchmade loves their Bolteron. I may pick one of these up at some point, but these aren't new. Tagged out, I have all 3 of these. They're all great. Wish this one had thumb studs though. Steep Country, new Santoprene handles. They're going heavy on these Santoprene handles. I will say, I've always wanted a Steep Country, but didn't like the handles on them as far as the handle material. As far as how comfortable they are super comfortable. Now that it has a Santoprene handle, I may pick up a Steep Country. I think I will, actually. 180 is the MSRP. Probably street price. I don't know. What is that going to be? Around 140, 150, maybe. I like it. I think I'm going to have to pick one of these up and check it out. It could be a really good option. Okay. Very good. Let's see what else. Crooked River, Mini Crooked River, North Fork, those are all out already. Cutlery, these are all out. The station knives, these are out already. Black Class, these are all out. There's a new readout. Hey! Still CPM D2 steel, interesting. $200. It looks like it's coated. So this one has, it looks like this might be DLC. And this one might be, looks like they might have 2 different coatings. This is a gray, it's like a grayish coating. It's not quite black. This is a black coating. I'm wondering if this is Cerakote or if this is, Benchmade has been doing a lot more Cerakoting than PVD and DLC recently, which I kind of hate, to be honest. I really wish they would go back to the PVD and DLC. Yeah, if it's PVD or DLC, I will definitely pick one up because I have this, and it's with the AWT scales again. This is an amazing knife. I do think that you need to change out the scales on this. The scales on this one are even worse than the scales on the Freak. But once you change them out to the AWT scales, it's an impeccable knife. Really good option. I just really wish they had DLC or PVD. Much more durable coating. See, nothing super new there. Nothing super new there. Mini Adamas, April. Is this an auto? Because they already have the Mini Adamas. It's not coated like in, wait a minute. Don't they already have this version out? CPM Crew Rare. Open, close, handle thickness. Yeah, so they do have auto adamas here. Okay, that's the big announcement here is auto adamas. April of 2024. I really have been waiting for an auto mini. That's awesome. I'm so glad they're doing it. Yeah, this has a thumb stud. This is not auto. But these ones are all auto. I'm going to have to pick one up. I may pick up this one. It's $450, pretty pricey. I have the manual version of this. Excellent knife. The carbon fiber on it is beautiful. You guys have seen I posted a video with it maybe a day or two ago, a short, and it's a beautiful carbon fiber. The gold anodizing on the liners and the clip is great. Excuse me, I'm very psyched for this. I really am. I'm gonna pick one of these up. I don't know why they say this is new estimated. This must be a mistake, because this I think is out already. Interesting. You guys comment below if I'm missing something, but I think it's out already. Okay. New shootouts coming. What is new about the shootouts here? These are the existing ones. Sage Green Grivory. I thought that's out already. No, the Sage Green is new. This one I thought was out already. Graphite Black CF Elite. Graphite Black CF Elite. Carbide Glass Breaker. Carbide Glass Breaker. Open 8194. Open 822. These are slightly different. Yeah, these are slightly different. What is this? 3494, 351. What is different about these? Guys, I'm stumped. What is different about these? They're like very slightly sized differently. The styling looks the same, mostly. Is the only difference the on the back of these ones you have the lanyard loop, and on these ones you have a glass breaker, and then there's a lanyard loop here? I don't know, guys. I don't know. Huh. I mean, this is a new color. These two are new colors, but this one looks exactly the same. Well, this one says Tactical and Rescue, Tactical and EDC. What's different about these? This is like a Tonto edge. These are drop point. I don't know, guys. Are they coming out with just like the slightest variation possible? Spyderco would just come out with like a CQE version. All right, immunity, auto immunity, meh. The is out, kind of meh. Looked a lot like a smaller version of the old Phaeton. Never was impressed with that. I think the Phaeton felt cheap in my hands. I haven't handled the yet. CLE is great. CLA, I mean. CLE is our continuing legal education. Otto Osborne, Claymore. Yep, these are all existing. These are new. Claymore OTF. See, this is what the other OTFs should have been, like as far as like, oh, a new OTF is coming. So this is replacing the Infidel. This is why they I guess discontinued the Infidel. Is they're going with the plastic casing. Is this plastic? Yeah, Black Rivalry. Yeah, they're going with plastic casing. The serrations are very interesting here. Not exactly sure why they're not quite VEF serrations, but they look like they tried to do VEF serrations and didn't succeed as much. I'm curious if this is like a weak point on the blade. I don't love the way they did these serrations. If you're going to get this one, I would get the unserrated version. I get, you know, having a serrated knife sometimes is good, and especially in a military application and things like that. But these serrations, I don't love them. if you really want wanted this knife with serrations, I'd say get this version and have them professionally serrated. Don't like this. It's the same version, different color. Mini Claymore. So you're gonna have a mini version of this. Yeah, so this is replacing the Infidel and the mini Infidel. Mini Claymore again. Coming early in the year. That's cool. Is that it? Anything else new? Yeah, see, when I said a blunted tip on a dive knife, this is a dive knife, right? This is what I was thinking more, you know, I think of a gut hook. You know, you don't need one on a knife, but it's there. But the blunted tip is what I was thinking of on a dive knife, so you don't pierce any of the equipment. Keep it watertight. Let's see, anything new here? Nothing new, nothing new, nothing new, nothing new, nothing new. Okay, I think that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, you know, sort of review of what's coming in 2024 for Benchmade. I am not sure if this link will stay up, but I'll go ahead and put it below. Check below if you guys want to check it out on your own. But yeah, kind of 2024 releases and 2023 releases are kind of meh. Don't love them. But there are some in here that I would like. I think I'd like to get, and there are some that I think may be worth the money, but the price hikes are getting out of control at this point. I realize there's inflation. There's just a lot of other good stuff on the market for cheaper. So Benchmade may be entering the territory where they're sort of like getting Gucci status, where it's like, you know, they're trying to be that top end, you know, that top end pricing, although much like, you know, Gucci and some of the stuff they make is great, and some of the stuff they make is, you know, left to be desired. You can, you know, the welts and different things that you can find are better on some other things, especially like Gucci shoes and things like that. I'm not a big Gucci shoe person, but I do enjoy a nice good 360 welt with good thread, good soles, good all this other stuff. That's a separate conversation. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, leave a subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much. Do like the video if you want to see more content like this, because that'll tell me, you know, and help the algorithm and tell me what you guys want. Thank you.